On Radio 97, time to talk all things law for the first time in 2021. Despina Priala is principal of boutique law firm Priala Legal, and for more than 25 years she's practiced property and commercial law on the Gold Coast, presiding over settlements like the iconic Q1 Tower, as well as construction of other local towers, not to mention her time as in-house counsel at Sunland Group for the second Palazzo Versace Hotel in Dubai. She always comes along on a Thursday morning to share her knowledge and insights and tips, and she's with us for the first time in the new year. Morning to you, Despina.
Good morning, Wayne.
And Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too. It's good to be back.
Yes, and looking forward to, I think, what's going to be another big year in all matters law.
It definitely will be.
And we'll be talking about all sorts of things. In fact, not even sure where to start. I guess probably we might even look today at some online safety, which is an issue that I know you're pretty passionate about. We might do that a bit later on. But first up, let's have a look at a good decision for small business owners.
Yes, exactly. So, and this is why I love the show, because it gives me the capacity and the ability to update listeners about real cases and changes in the law that it will affect real Australians.
And this is pretty much hot off the press too, isn't it?
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
So we finished the show, I think it was about 2 weeks before Christmas, and this was a decision handed down on the 21st of December, so just before we actually closed. And it's a very important decision for small business owners, and it's really important to tell listeners because it could definitely affect anyone listening today.
Well, of course, small business owners, business owners in general have had all sorts of issues over the past 12 months. So when a decision comes their way, it's certainly worthwhile checking out. And this one, interestingly, is against the tax department.
Yes, I love those cases.
Tell us about it.
Well, a small business owner thought that he was eligible for the Jobkeeper, and by now everybody would be aware what Jobkeeper was, and that was brought out last year, February, March, by the government to help small businesses. So this particular business owner applied for the Jobkeeper, as many business owners did, and was shut down by the Commission of Taxation because they said he was not eligible. Now, many listeners would be aware you've got to tick a lot of boxes to be eligible for the Jobkeeper. A lot of conditions and qualifications came through, which businesses had to go through and review and see if they were eligible. One of those was that you had to have an active ABN as at or on the 12th of March last year. So that was one of the boxes you had to tick. And if you didn't, apparently you weren't eligible. Now, this particular business owner was told that he was not eligible for that very reason. And this was a business owner that was active in the community, had an active business, was trading, but for whatever reason, as at the 12th of March, he did not have an active ABN. So he was aware of the conditions. He made inroads to reactivate the ABN prior to that date. And for him, the decision about, or confirmation, I should say, that the ABN was reactivated came after the 12th of March. But it was essentially backdated. So when he did get that confirmation, yes, it said, yes, you have an ABN as at the 12th of March, but it wasn't given to him on that particular date. So as at the 12th of March, technically, he did not have an active ABN. And the Commissioner said, too bad. Well, I don't know exactly the words that they may have used. I haven't read the whole case, but no, he was denied the Jobkeeper.
Okay, so you say that he had applied for the ABN, but it hadn't actually been given on that date, and yet it was found that subsequently he did actually have that. So therefore, it was a technicality, wasn't it? Really?
It was a technicality.
Yeah.
And we've seen that over the years in many cases where people are denied justice or access to a particular, think of the word, outcome for them that will benefit them. But based on a technicality, they actually lose out, which often is not necessarily the correct outcome and the just and equitable outcome for people. So what this particular business owner did is he appealed. quite rightly, I would too, because it was purely based on a technicality. And he went to the Administrative Appeals Tribunal and he won. And that was the decision handed down on the 21st of December.
Okay, so I think what it shows, therefore, is that just because you get a ruling from a government department, in this case the tax department, that says, no, sorry, you missed out, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So you often shouldn't just take it at face value that, well, the government is correct or the Commissioner of Taxation in this case is correct and therefore I'm denied access to the JobKeeper, because being denied access to the JobKeeper undoubtedly would have had a huge financial impact on that particular business owner and perhaps many others who faced the same situation or similar situation last year.
Well, in those early days of the JobKeeper, it was $750 per week per employee. So that's a lot of money if your business is struggling because of all of these issues that just suddenly arose with the virus.
Absolutely. So for business owners who were not eligible or perhaps missed out on the JobKeeper for whatever reason and didn't receive it, I'm certain that a lot of them would have had to have closed down because that helped the businesses survive through COVID. And that was the whole point of JobKeeper coming out, was to help active business owners continue as best as they could. And that's something that the tribunal actually identified. So the tribunal quite rightly sided with the business owner and said, look, we're not going to deny someone based on a technicality. The whole point of the legislation was to actually help active business owners in the community, and we're not going to deny that business owner what he should have received, and we're going to allow the appeal, and that's what happened.
As you say, of course, this business would not have been the only one that would have been in a situation like this. So what would be the situation then if so the tax department says, no, sorry, you're not eligible for the money, and therefore a business, well, it could be the difference between a business staying afloat or closing its doors. Do you have some legal recourse there if they said, no, sorry, you're not eligible for the money, when in fact you could well have been?
I think at the very least, if business owners out there who are listening to this program did face the same situation last year where they missed out on JobKeeper on a technicality, and it could have been this technicality or it could have been another technicality as part of the list of conditions for a JobKeeper. I think this decision opens up the way for business owners to review what happened to them last year if they were denied JobKeeper, and then to approach the Commissioner of Taxation based on this case and say, look, you denied me JobKeeper based on this very same situation, for example, no active ABN. Each case obviously has to be assessed on its merits and on their individual circumstances, but at the very least, business owners should take this case away, review their situation last year, see if it was similar or the same, and go and get some legal advice, because it may very well be that the decision they received last year could be overturned, and maybe they might be eligible for payments to be made to them because it was a wrong decision made because of this case that came out.
Can you imagine that if you've put your heart and soul into your business and you know, it's been pretty much the centerpiece of your life for a long time, and something like this, something as simple as that, just a difference of a date, and we're probably only talking a matter of days, could mean the difference between your business continuing and not.
Yeah, exactly right. Huge. It's a fundamental and important decision that people need to be aware of, and definitely take this away and look at your situation from last year, and if you fall within a same or similar category, go and talk to your accountant and go and talk to your lawyer about whether you can now be eligible, quote unquote eligible, as in make an application to have the payments made to you that you should have received last year.
All right, so the government doesn't always get it right.
No, they don't. Definitely not. So we've seen that many times in the past. This is just another example. So definitely don't take decisions at face value in the first time, and have a look. Sometimes it's common sense. Matters that are denied based on technicalities really are perhaps not a just and equitable outcome for those people who are making those applications.
Just out of interest in this story of the business that you quoted, Do you know how many days there was a difference between actually getting the money or being eligible and not being eligible?
Actually, I
2
don't.
days, 3 days?
I don't, but
Yeah.
actually I can find that out for next
Yeah.
week and have a look and read the case and see how long it actually took to get the ABN activated and confirmation of that. Yeah, interesting point, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and really, literally, could be the difference between people having a job and not having a job.
Absolutely.
This is Talking Law on Radio 97. Despina Priala is here to answer your questions. If you do have a question regarding the law, Despina more than happy to look into it and give you an answer on the radio. If you do have a question, just send us an email with your question and a couple of details about it. We're happy to ask that question on the radio on your behalf. Send it to breakfast@radio97.com.au. We'll be back after the break and in just a moment talking about some changes to the law that covers your safety online.